Today we're gonna be watching Haminations. Yeah. Okay, which is the most popular? Probably almost died time.
Okay.
Guys, we're gonna be watching that. So don't judge. Tell me if we want us to react.
Hey, Brenner,
something.
if you jump off this cliff right now, I'll give you a penny.
Are you serious?
Oh. Hi, I'm Bryson, and a while ago I made a video about the times I almost died and the times I got hurt really bad.
Okay.
But that got me thinking about the other injuries in my family, and one sibling came to mind, one who had dodged the grasp of death more times than I can count. The sibling who had little to no regard for his own mortality and would regularly hurt himself. The wild child, if you will. The youngest brother, Brenner. This is gonna be a long
Okay. Is that please ask me why this is
video because Brenner gets injured a lot. I don't want to cut out good stories or do a part 2, so let's just sit down, relax, grab some popcorn, and laugh at my brother's pain.
I'm gonna go get some.
Now, almost all of Brenner's injuries were self-inflicted. However, I think it's only right we start the video with Brenner's very first injury, the one he got from me. Brenner had recently been born, and my parents invited me into their room to say hi to my new baby brother. As I said hello to him, he reached out his hand and scratched my chest. Now, obviously, Brenner was just a baby. He had no control of his body and was just moving around. But my 4-year-old brain could not let this slide.
No.
How dare you? First, you come
Don't
into
do it.
my house, take my spot as the cute youngest child, and take all the attention from my
Don't do it,
parents.
Bryson.
And now this? I
Don't
offered you
splash
my
me.
hand in
You're
friendship,
just gonna
and
shout.
you attacked
Get
me.
it grounded.
You must pay recompense
do
for
it.
your actions.
Hey, no, stop, just calm down, don't do it.
My parents tried to stop me, but it was too late. I reached out and scratched him back. He began to cry, and my parents put me in timeout. Little did Brenner know, his pain had just begun. Okay, in all seriousness, I felt really bad for what I did. Even now, I still regularly apologize to Brenner about it. But he can't even remember it, so he doesn't care. Brenner, my conscience has really been getting to me lately, and I'm so sorry about what I did.
Dude, that was 17 years ago. Can you just move on? I forgive you, okay?
Thank you. I love you, Brenner. I'm so glad I could get that off my chest. Remember in my pain video where my brother Brody slammed the door on my fingers? Yeah. Apparently that experience runs in the family. Brody walked through a door as a young Brenner was sticking his fingers in the hinges, and Brody slammed the door again.
Is he dumb?
Brenner's fingers bent every which way.
If I had a nickel for
What
every
did
time I
that
slammed a
happen?
sibling's fingers in the door, I'd have 2 nickels. That isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Luckily, Brenner's fingers didn't break, and the doctors fixed him up. Feel better soon, buddy, and don't get into any more trouble.
I will make no such promises.
One time, me and Brenner were playing tag, and rather than be tagged by me, he jumped into a busy street and a car barely avoided him. I guess Brenner was more willing to die than lose at tag. Would you rather die a terrible death or...
Definitely death.
Wait, you didn't hear the other option?
Death.
I genuinely don't know why he is so accident-prone, but this next story was no accident. You know how sometimes your mom has a really good friend, so she decides to make you hang out with her friends' children, but you don't like them? Yeah. When I was younger, my mom sent me and Brenner to play with the neighbor kids, Jake and Steven. The main reason I didn't like Jake was because he said, "Your sister is so hot." Brittany was 18. Jake and I were 8. Have you considered shutting up? Anyways, I spent the day tolerating Jake's shenanigans, but eventually I hid from him on the front porch and watched Brenner and Steven play in the front yard. "Come here, Brenner, I want to show you something." Brenner walked up to him, Steven grabbed his hand, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a pair of scissors and started cutting Brenner's fingers.
Stop!
I ran over to them to check on Brenner. His fingers were bleeding and he was crying. I slapped the scissors out of Steven's hand, grabbed him by the arm, and forced him inside to his mom.
That's like a guy's gonna be coming into a
Hey,
serial killer.
Steven just cut Brenner's fingers with scissors.
How is that even possible?
Oh, Steven. What? That's it? I was shocked.
Are you-
Call my mom
you
right
are
now
not
so she can pick us up.
helpful, but
We're leaving.
you see,
We
it's
left and
psychological,
Brenner's
whatever
fingers
that
healed just
fingers
fine.
hurt.
But still, that reaction from the mom was not okay. Luckily, I
like-
never had to go to that family's house again. Reminds me of another time Brody was really young and another boy was punching him. My mom took the kid to his mom and told her that his son was hitting Brody, and all she did was say, Soft hands, Hunter. I mean,
What?
come on. Soft hands? How about punishing your kid for hitting a stranger?
You clearly don't know how to discipline children. Here,
Oh my
I'll
god,
show you
this
how
is
it's
gonna be
done.
so funny.
A lot of Brenner's injuries were caused by him wanting to grow up fast and to keep up with his older brothers. For example,
Oh my
My
god.
turn.
He's gonna get ricochet like whatever that was.
Bryson doesn't need training wheels on his bike, so neither do I.
Alright, people.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Let me
god.
try.
He's actually gonna break his neck. Yep, told ya.
but one time, Brenner tried to set a trend that the other brothers would follow, and the consequences were severe. This next story is the real reason I made this video. I'm honestly still surprised that Brenner survived this. It was bad. In our basement, we had a tall exercise machine that looked like this.
Oh
Brenner
my
decided that he
God.
wanted to climb it and jump off it onto our beanbag
Oh,
for fun.
no.
However,
This is your
this
gonna
time
make
it went
this
horribly
spoiled.
wrong. Brenner pushed the
He can
beanbag
make his
close to
goal.
the machine,
Okay.
climbed up, and jumped headfirst with the same regard for his life that a Minecraft player has when seeing one block of water at the bottom of a cliff.
True.
Part of the beanbag covered the exercise bench, which extended out, hiding the big metal part underneath. Brenner thought that since there was part of the beanbag
Oh,
there,
shit.
it would be soft.
my God.
But his head
Are you-
slammed through the beanbag into the metal part, and he
Are you-
split his forehead wide open.
Okay, out. Are you okay?
Brittany and Mom later
Okay,
told me
why
that they
you
could
just-
see Brenner's skull through the gash in his head. My dad
Good.
sent me to a friend's house so they could watch me while my parents took care of Brenner. I remember sitting on their stairs, terrified that I'd never see Brenner again.
I'm such a good
God,
brother.
please hear my prayer. If you make Brenner be okay, I promise I'll never be mean to him again. At the hospital, since Brenner was so accident-prone, they kept pointing to cuts on his head that were from previous shenanigans. Is this cut old or new? Is this cut old or new?
Bro,
Is this old or
he's
new?
the one with
Finally, my
blood.
sister was like,
The gaping gash on his forehead, that is new. Forget the rest of it, fix that.
somehow the doctors patched him up. I think they even had a plastic surgeon involved in fixing his head. When I next saw Brenner, he was up on his feet with 25 stitches in his head. But he was okay. Phew! I thought you were gonna die, Brenner. I'm so glad you're okay. Anyway,
You're not okay.
Brenner still has a massive scar across his forehead, but thanks to the doctors, he was okay. Brenner, can you please calm down on the injuries? You're gonna die if you're not careful.
No,
It's
he's
not
not gonna
hard to
come
die.
down.
I could do it like right now. But like number two,
Another time, a young Brenner was using the bathroom and found a bottle of painkillers on the countertop.
Oh my god.
They were coated in a sugary glaze to make them go down easier. So Brenner
that's
took the
bad.
pills
That-
one by
that-
one
you could-
and sucked
you could
on them
die.
till they ran out of sugar, then spat them out. He did this over and over and over,
No,
and from
he's
sucking
dead.
on the pills,
He's
he got
tripping.
sick and passed out.
I'm tired. Ooh.
Oh my god.
It's an ad for an app
Yo,
called
what?
Simple.
What is this? What is this? What is this?
Teaches you how to draw with step-by-step
Don't blame
lessons.
me because I don't have. Why you I don't have money to buy YouTube.
My mom discovered Brenner I don't know how they saved him, honestly. I don't really know how doctors work. For all I know, they could have removed all of Brenner's blood, which was tainted with drugs, thrown it away, then pumped him up with fresh blood. I don't know. Another time, he swallowed a bunch of coins, and again, my parents rushed him to the hospital where he was x-rayed to show a pile of coins in his stomach. They told my poor parents to dig through his, waist until they got all the coins. He was like a piggy bank, but way more disgusting. Right. He was like a piggy bank, but way more disgusting. Honestly, with how often Brenner visited the hospital, I'm surprised they didn't have a special section of the hospital just for him. This next story is surprisingly the only time that Brenner has ever broken a bone. You would think at this point that he would have no bones left because of how often he gets hurt, but nope, he still has bones. My family has a small motorcycle that we call Big Bertha.
Is he gonna
It's
get
fun to
it?
ride around on, but it has no suspension. It is
hit
two
by a
wheels and a
car?
motor. That's it. One day, Brenner was driving it, and despite knowing that Big Bertha had no suspension, he decided to ride it off a curb. The bike bounced,
Is he
Brenner
just
swerved
gonna
and lost
get hit by a
control,
car?
and he went head over handlebars.
Oh my god.
He landed on his arm and totally snapped his wrist. One hospital trip later, and Brenner had a cast. He wanted his cast to be unique, so he asked me to paint it to look like Thanos' gauntlet.
Oh,
So I
that
got
would
the
be
paint out
pretty
and painted it as
sick.
best I could to look like the gauntlet.
Yeah,
It looked
sick,
pretty
sick.
cool in my opinion. But then later, Brenner's arm got itchy. The doctors told him that his arm would be itchy at first, but that if he ignored it, the itchiness would go away. They also specifically told him to leave the cast alone and to not shove anything into the cast to try and scratch his itch. However, the itch
You
got the
didn't
better
even
of
tell
Brenner.
that because
So
that-
without
you gave me
consulting
when I
anyone, he grabbed Brody's glasses and
if I
started
will
shoving
ever
the
have
long
a
end
cast,
into his
if
cast in an
it'll
attempt to
be
scratch his
itchy,
itch.
I'll
He
not
pulled the
do
glasses
that
out
because I
only to
didn't know
realize
that would
that
be
the
an
little
option,
rubber
because I'm dumb.
covering had slipped off
Tell me,
and it
well,
was
tell
now
me to not
stuck
do
in
that,
the
I know
cast.
that would be an option,
Determined to
just
scratch his itch and
scratch,
recover
so-
the rubber cover,
It would be better if
Brenner
not
somehow
so-
removed all of
what-
the soft wrappings underneath the cast, leaving only the hard outer shell. Brenner had scratched his itch and was satisfied. Then Mom walked in and saw what Brenner had done.
Oh, no, my God. What? This is me. This is me if that ever happens.
They went back to the hospital and explained the situation. Can you imagine being a doctor and setting someone up with a nice cast to help them heal, and the next thing you know, they ruined it?
I feel like the maid. I just cleaned up this mess. Can we keep it clean for 10 minutes?
They had to cut off his Thanos cast and make another one for him. Brenner got home and asked me to paint his new cast.
God. And he's not gonna paint it. And gonna paint it.
I think so.
No, I spent a lot of time painting that last one
Told
and you
ya.
ruined it.
Told
How do
ya.
I know you won't ruin it
Told
again?
ya.
Come on, man, just paint it again.
Why should I be penalized because of your sloppiness?
So Brenner went around wearing a lame blue cast rather than a cool Thanos cast. A few months later, the doctors took off the cast and they realized that Brenner's arm had healed crooked.
Oh my
It was
God.
literally like a 15-degree angle. My mom pointed this out and the doctor said, "Yeah, well, it's within the range of crookedness that we consider to be acceptable, so we're just gonna leave it like that."
What? That's easy for you to say.
Oh, he's
You're
gonna
not the
break
one
your-
who has to live with a
he's gonna
crooked
break
arm.
his bone
Fix
and
his
put a
arm
cast
and do it right
again.
this time.
So the doctors explained that in order to fix it, they would have to re-break Brenner's arm, angle it
Told ya.
correctly, and recast it.
Do it.
Wait, what?
Hold them down.
Wait, no.
Oh my God. Oh
So
my
they did
God.
that, and Brenner's arm eventually healed correctly, but not without pain. Now, you would think that after breaking his arm on Big Bertha, that Brenner would never touch that
No,
thing again,
he'll
right?
touch it again like 1 million
Nope.
times.
Let me tell you one last story. One day, me
the
and
last
Brenner
one.
got bored and decided to go for a ride. Him on Big Bertha and me on
Right
my GoPro.
now, he's gonna be hit
We
by
chased
a
each
car.
other around a parking lot, but then I thought, how can I make racing around more interesting?
Going.
And my mind went to my favorite racing
I
game,
don't
Mario Kart.
The
You know, the game where you destroy your enemies by throwing items at them. So I decided to drive by Brenner and
never
throw my
played Mario Kart,
flip-flops
'cause I
at
don't have
him.
Mario
We
Kart.
went back and forth throwing flip-flops at each other like green shells for some time. Then
And
I
you're gonna
zoomed
get hit
by
by a
and got a
car.
good flip-flop strike on Brenner, and he wanted
Okay,
to
not
retaliate
quite.
with something stronger.
It would be
He
quite-
grabbed a big tree branch and drove towards me. He
you're
swung the
gonna-
branch and I
and you're gonna
swerved
be
out of
hit-
the way. But the branch was so heavy that swinging it
You're gonna be
threw
hit by a
Brenner off
car?
balance. He
Okay,
swerved
maybe
and
not,
flew
but
over
it
the
would be pretty
handlebars
cool
once
if that
more.
happened.
Again? Freaking again?
Brenner was scraped and bruised, but luckily nothing broke. And he finally learned his lesson, and he doesn't drive Big Bertha anymore. But I do.
You're gonna get. Moment of silence. Rest in peace, Grace.
Here we are at the end of the video, and yet, that's not even all of Brenner's injuries. But let's quickly get through some last stories. Lightning round. We visited a janky aquarium that let you swim with sharks, and a bamboo shark bit Brenner's finger. Brenner went to a trampoline
What?
park, attempted a stupid trick, and hurt himself again, and had to wear a neck brace.
Wait, what,
Lightning
what?
round. We visited a janky aquarium
He
that let you
got
swim
bit by
with
a
sharks,
shark?
and a bamboo shark bit Brenner's finger. Brenner went to a
I'm assuming a
trampoline park,
bamboo shark
attempted a
has
stupid
teeth
trick,
in it.
and landed on his head and had to wear a neck brace for a few weeks.
That's
Brenner and
stupid.
Brody went kayaking. Brody tried to splash Brenner with the paddle, but it skipped off the water, slammed into Brenner's face, and cracked his front teeth. A car almost backed over him as a child, but he hung onto the bumper while being dragged, and my
hey,
sister stopped the car to save him. His friend accidentally shot him in the forehead with a BB gun, and his forehead still has a dent. In conclusion, Brenner's guardian angel is built different, because she has saved Brenner more times than I can count. And as much as I make fun of him, I am grateful for that. As he has grown, I think he has gotten a little less accident prone. Let's hope it keeps going in that direction, cause I'm pretty sure he has used up all of his 9 lives. God has sent his soul back to the living world so many times at this point that if Brenner shows up there again, God might just say, "Oh, forget it," and keep him. Well, hey, it could be worse. At least his soul is going to heaven.